There's one more coming from The View that's even more hilarious that I want to make sure we watch. Let's check this out real quick.
In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news. Yeah. They should be teaching that in this country. Yeah. Teach children teach them to think.
By them, of course.
Exactly.
Of course, they're the one that teach you what's the real news versus the fake one. That's all this is about. Look, just a general conversation about just socially was fundamentally changed with Elon purchasing X or Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, he purchased Twitter.
Yeah,
he turned it into X.
Turned it into X, right? So that made them so mad because, as we've known, and as those initial Twitter files indicated, they were working directly with the alphabet agencies to basically suppress people's suppress certain viewpoints on the website. So we know it was happening there. We know for sure that it was happening. We know, for example, with the Hunter Biden laptop situation, we know for a fact Meta suppressed that. So they want to be able to control the conversation, and that, but that was a cultural shift, and they are like she is now lashing out. Because, well, information is flowing a lot more freer than what it had been before, and people are able to make those decisions for themselves as far as what's real, what's fake. Either way, they're not going to the fucking View. They're not going to ABC. They're not going to NBC or CNN for that matter. We know their numbers have tanked. They're not going to them to try to get the news, right? They may analyze it if you put it out there, but it's less where it used to be. Okay, legitimate forms of news come through them. Now it's more okay. It's more responsive. It's more, CNN put that out. Here's on X why this is bullshit, right? Like why this is nonsense, or this is the idea to the contrary. This getting debunked in real time, and they hate that shit.
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest defenders is being able to do one.
This woman has learned nothing.
If we could just censor the people we don't want to hear, if we could just stop them from speaking, that would be great. Of course, Jesus wept. Do they hear? Do they legitimately hear what they're saying? We're allowed to be the fascists. Look at me. We are the fascists now. Just be honest. Just say it.
Yeah.
We just want to censor our political opposition.
Yes.
Just say that.
Yeah.
Because Twitter right now, it's not a right wing place. It's just people can speak now. Mm-hmm. The leftists haven't left Twitter.
Yeah, I mean they can still talk their shit too, right?
Yeah, and they do, they do constantly. Yes. And they are there very vocally as well. You know, Mark Hamill might put a tweet out, and maybe a couple of 100,000 people might like it.
Yeah.
Any raving crazy person that says, "Hey, maybe we should just murder all of our political opponents."
That's how I feel.
You know, which was said recently by somebody that was coined as what the tolerant liberal or whatever. However they wanted to phrase it. No, so you can say these things on social media. You can cry on social media. You can say, my politics are this, and I support that person. You have every right to do so. You can say, look, I'm this gender and that gender, and I identify as a fucking ball of hay, or I don't know. You can say whatever you want, and there's no repercussions for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's going to be repercussions if you say, hey, do you know what? That gas chamber's looking real fucking sexy right now. Maybe we should put X people in it.
Yeah,
maybe that is going to cause some problems, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah, that's going to cause some issues for sure.
Yeah, I think maybe that's not a rational voice that needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Okay, but just expressing your regular viewpoint. The problem they have is the right of reply. And they've been very used and very protected to not having the right of reply. And I'm not just talking about the regular person, because the regular person's irrelevant to them. You know, we've seen the systematic censoring and deplatforming of people who they deem problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they want back again.
Yes.
That is what they want back again. And now that Elon has purchased Twitter and turned it into X, yeah, it's way better than before. Is there still plenty of bans going on for silly stuff? Yeah. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect because we're never going to have a perfect system.
Right.
That's one thing that we've got to understand, that there are all these people that seem to think that we can, if we do this, we can make it perfect. We can end racism or end bigotry. You're never going to do that, right? You're never going to win the war on terror because terror is an ideology. It's an ideological thing. So you can't beat an ideology, right? There's always going to be racism. It doesn't matter where you are, where you exist, or how tolerant things are. It's always going to exist in the world, depending on it. It doesn't matter what race you are. You know, different countries will discriminate against different races. I can go to different countries and I will be discriminated against. You can go to different countries, you can be discriminated against. That's just the nature of the beast. What we really need is a good middle ground, a good commonality. And that's, I think, where we were going to. That's I think where the world was sort of leaning towards naturally. There was sort of like a commonality where, you know, we believe in these sort of things, or we think these sort of things should come into effect. And the other side said, yeah, well, but we believe this and this and this. And it's like, okay, well, you know, these are things that we can work within the system. But now particularly with the rise of social media, particularly with the rise of the internet, which is a tragic shame because the internet is as wonderful as it is horrible and scary. There's too much of a radical divide that the things that which can bind us together are lost. I mean, we're brought together, you know, you, me, Gary, Jeremy, blah, 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 you know, Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Gore. Let's bring people like that in. We might have radically different politics.
And we all do, for sure.
And radical different give a shits about these politics as well. But our commonality is what connects us. You know, we're connected through TV, film. We're connected through pop culture, video games, and that's where we get on,
right?
Because we don't try and force our differences. We try and work within our similarities. What connects us, and that's not what's going on. Particularly in politics, which is quite difficult for me to say, particularly in politics, because they want the divide,
right?
And so they're never going to fix anything. I reckon I could sit down with any of these women on The View, and we could probably have a fun conversation about something. We could find some commonality to discuss, something to discuss, more than likely. But that's not what they want.
No, well, they want everybody else, to shut the fuck up. Because again, as we were talking about earlier, they believe that their position is the position. It is the righteous position. And anything to the opposition of that is in opposition of what they feel is just. So that's why she's talking about them. We'll rewind it just a little bit so you guys can hear her explicitly state that she wants to regulate some things. Listen.
Media, because one of the biggest offenders is DC and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations.
Not gonna get it with Elon Musk in the administration.
And think about
whoa. What's a rogue corporation?
Maybe the ABC, the one they work for? I don't know. But no.
What does that mean? Sorry, I mean, I need a quantification of what is a rogue social media.
They are, as it's going to sound fucking crazy, but this is what you're dealing with. They're mad that people are more freely able to speak on a platform. So they consider that to be the negative, that to be the rogue corporation, that Elon is allowing people, in comparison to years prior, to speak without being censored, banned, what have you. Yes, like you said, is that still happening to some degree? Of course. It's not happening to the degree that it was before. And that is what they are mad at. And you just heard this woman.
So she does not agree with the First Amendment.
Well, no, she doesn't agree with the general concept of just people being able, relatively, I always use that term, because it is going to be relative depending on who you're speaking to. And yes, there's going to be some limitations as far as what people feel are tolerable. She just doesn't want who the people, I guess she deems as the enemy, to be able to speak in a level playing field with her. in terms of their ideas. Thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to Rippaverse.com to check out our comic book company. We have books, plenty of merchandise, and even some glorious animations from Rippaverse Studios.